When my adventures began, crime was the last thing on my mind. Stretched out by Pharaoh's pool in the hot Egyptian sun, I was doing what I do best, absolutely nothing at all. Ra, you are the laziest creature I know, my friend Capri said. I ignored him. Capri's a scarab beetle, so he is only about the size of my paw, and his voice is tiny. But when he crept closer to my ear and said it again, I yawned and half opened my eyes. Lazy? Me? I blinked. Never, Capri. I made the most of every hour. But you haven't moved a whisker all day, Capri protested. That's the beauty of it, Capri. Don't need to move. I'm already in the best place possible. I glanced over his shiny black wings and admired the calm water in the pool. It's sunny and it's peaceful. Even better, the people here treat me like a god. Believe me, I'm making the most of that. Capri flashed his wings. Well, people think highly of me too. There isn't a mummy in Egypt that doesn't have a scarab amulet over its heart. But I don't let that go to my head, Ra. I keep busy. Let me guess, I wrinkled my nose. You've been rolling dung balls again. I have indeed. Capri rubbed his forelegs. First thing this morning, I started over by the stables. I don't want to know the details, Capri. Scarab beetles love dung, but Capri loves it more than most. I tried to cover my ears and with my paws, but it was no use. And you wouldn't believe how much dung I found there, Capri went on. Piles of it. Stop, I moaned. He did, but not because of me. A serving boy strode up with a mid-morning snack. Capri had to scurry back to avoid being stepped on. With a deep bow, the boy set my plate down in front of me. I gave him a gracious nod, but I waited until he left before I nibbled at the offerings. Letting the humans watch you eat is always a mistake. It's hard to look like a god when you are wolfing down antelope stew. I didn't mind Capri seeing me though. Compared with his meals, mine are classy in the extreme. After I had polished off all the morsels on my plate, not only antelope stew but some tidbits of spiced ibex, I rode onto my back with a happy sigh. Delicious, I tell you, Capri. The cooks here get better every day. And now what? Capri said. You're going to lie around waiting for the next meal? And what's wrong with that? Ra, you need to get out more. I've known mummies with more interesting lives. What kind of comparison was that? Mummies don't eat, I pointed out, or sleep. There's more to life than eating and sleeping, Capri said. Not that anyone would know it, the way you act. Even when Pharaoh took you to Thebes last month, you didn't leave a paw. His servants carried you straight from this pool to the sunny deck of the ship, and then they carried you back. I nuzzled my paws. So what if they did? Capri sighed. Don't you get bored, Ra? How can I be bored when there are snacks? I said reasonably. You are hopeless, Capri told me. You've got one less get up and go than one of the Pharaoh's wigs. I rolled over and licked the last bit of gravy off the plate. Capri could say what he liked, but I had plenty to get up and go when I wanted to. I just didn't want uh, to very often. A few years ago, when Pharaoh was just a prince, it was different. I used to roam around them. But now I wasn't an ordinary palace cat. I was Pharaoh's cat. And there was no need to get about. Everything I wanted was right here. And of course I didn't get bored. Well, not very often anyways. Only when my snack was done and it was hours and hours until the next one would arrive. Like now. Not that I was going to mention it to Capri. After all, I counted myself lucky I didn't have all the claims on my time that Pharaoh did. So many ambassadors to receive, so many rights to perform, and so many to live up to as he followed in his father's footsteps. None of that was none of that for me. As Pharaoh's cat, my life was easier than ever. If I was a teensy bit bored sometimes, so what? Anyways, if I complained, Capri would invite me to roll down balls with him. He doesn't seem to appreciate the dignity of my position. Now that I am Pharaoh's cat, I live an exalted life just as Pharaoh himself does. Everyone else in Egypt understands that. They generally show their respect. They keep their distance, but not Capri. Really, sometimes I don't know why I put up with him. Well, it's not good for you to lie around all day like this, Capri said now. You need another interest in life. No, Capri, I slouched back down beside the pool, rubbing one cheek against the towel. What I need is a nap. Capri drummed his forelegs in a marching beat. You slept plenty already. Let's get you moving. We can talk about it after my nap, I mumbled. Hey, Capri stopped drumming. What was that? I said. Not you, Capri hopped around and faced the high wall at the far end of the courtyard. Over there, that scratching sound. As I turned my head to listen, a cat popped over the wall. I sat up. Cats may be gods in Egypt, but I'd be the first to tell you that not all of us look the part. This one was a mess, young and scrawny with ragged fur and a torn ear. Definitely not the kind of cat who belonged in the palace, let alone in Pharaoh's private quarters. Hey there, panting, she scrabbled over to me. I drew myself up higher. Hey there, what kind of greeting was that for Ra, the mighty lord of the powerful paw, direct descendant of the cat goddess Bastet and the great sun god Ra himself? I flicked my right ear. Excuse me, have we met? No, she said. I'm Mew. I live by the kitchens and I need your help. Help sounded an awful lot like work, and why should I work for a creature who didn't even know the polite way to approach Pharaoh's cat? I stretched myself out by the water. Sorry, I'm busy. The youngster leaped over me and lowered her face down to mine. You don't look busy to me. The nerve. Didn't she understand the need to treat Pharaoh's cat with respect? I put out a paw and warded her off. Well, I am. Very, very busy. Goodbye. She didn't back away. But you're a cat. You're one of Bastet's own. We're supposed to protect the weak, remember? And there's a child here who needs our help. A child? Capri cut in. Who?